Acceptable violation of their human rights, and as a matter of urgency, I am strongly calling on and demanding for the immediate government intervention.
A statement was issued, which statement you acknowledge in your statement. However, you are saying that it's wholly untrue. To say that the statement they issued was wholly untrue, with respect, honorable colleague, take that one out.
We are live in Parliament, where the issue has been dividing the House today, with the Speaker ordering the National Security Minister to appear before the House next week over the alleged military brutalities in Garu.
Leader, that is my directives, that the Minister appear before the House on Thursday night of November.
This is Top Story with Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Tension is tonight rising in Garu in the Upper East region as youth demand the immediate release of 8 of their colleagues arrested after a military raid with threats that public servants there will withdraw their services until this is done. And this follows the alleged brutality of a few of the residents there after the National Security Ministry has issued a statement indicating that their own officers have been a subject of attack, and the youth they had mobilized to attack a police station there, where the national security operatives had taken refuge after they were attacked. Well, tonight this is a subject of debate on the floor of Parliament. The Speaker has ordered that the National Security Minister Albert Kandapa appears before MPs next week to explain the alleged brutalization of the civilians in Garu. We have more from Parliament for you pretty shortly, but I want to take you to Garu first, because today the youth have been mobilizing to address the media, and it was a pretty charged atmosphere. My colleague Albert Sorry is on the ground, has been following this for us, and joins us with details now. Albert, we've been looking at the videos today, and it looked pretty charged. The community had come together with strong demands.
Exactly so, Evan. So what the youth did was that they came together. You know, Garu and Timpani were initially one district. It was the Garu-Timpani district. They have now been separated into 2 separate districts, Garu and Timpani. And so because of that, they came together and held this press conference, because civilians from both areas were affected by all of this. And so that is why you had the very charged atmosphere.
They beat teachers.
Yes.
They beat nurses. They beat students. They beat bankers. They beat doctors. Nobody was left out. And let us put it on record that those who were arrested are people who are opinion leaders, assembly members and former assembly members who were arrested. They have no record on crime, so long as we are aware. So we are not going to force people not to come out, but we, the people who are workers in the town, are going to lay down our tools in protest until our people are brought to us. We are not going to take the laws into our hands, but we will not come out as workers in the town whilst we are being beaten, whilst our items are taken from us, whilst our leaders are still in police custody, and we don't even know where they are whereabouts.
So, Albert, from what we're hearing there, they want the release of these 8 individuals who were picked up, and from what we understand, are still on detention?
Yes, they are still on they are still in detention. I spoke with the district chief executive for Timpani, and what he told me was that he was in contact with the leadership of the military, and they were giving him updates as to the condition in which these men who were arrested are, and they were telling him that they are in good condition and they are still under investigation. They are being held at the NIB. But as to when they will be released, he did not have information on that.
By the way, other specific demands ahead today. The residents at this press conference also were detailing what they believe to be the accurate reflection of what actually happened on the ground.
Exactly. So you realize that they were saying they are going to withdraw their services because some of them even came to the press conference with their injuries to show us. So nurses, teachers, and all of that were some of the people who were beaten and sustained injuries when the military invaded the area. And so one of the measures they intend to take is to withdraw their services to force the government to listen to them because they want a full-scale investigation into the incident. There were people who are saying that they had their personal belongings, like mobile phones. Some even claim that their monies were taken from them, and they want all of these things returned. And they also want an unqualified apology from the government and also from the Ghana Armed Forces for the brutalities that were meted out to them.
Albert, thank you very much. And today, the Member of Parliament for the area, Albert Alau Zuga, has been delivering a statement on the floor demanding a parliamentary probe.
It is important to mention that the incident by the military adds to a long list of barbaric and inhumane actions carried out by our men in uniform on innocent civilians whom they ought to be protecting as a matter of responsibility. Mr. Speaker, reports from the residents in my constituency indicates that on the 29th Sunday, October, military men visited Garu at dawn, beat up, maimed, destroyed, and in some cases took away monies and valuable properties from the residents of Garu. This is an unacceptable violation of their human rights, and as a matter of urgency, I am strongly calling on and demanding for the immediate government intervention to address this issue, and also for Parliament to open a probe into this matter and bring a comprehensive resolution to it. The brutalities in Garu and Tempani must be the last on the people of Ghana. The incident is not linked, and I want to urge the national security to come again with their reason.
Parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante joins us right now on the line. Kweku, there were some disagreements on the statement that we just heard. What was it about?
Well, Evans, even before Alazuga will take his seat and complete his statement, Alexander Fenyoma, the deputy majority leader, was on his seat. He says that there are some inaccuracies in the statement that have been presented by the MP. He claimed that MPs cannot impugn the integrity of the national security. If he puts out a statement and says this is what happened, it is not up to the MP for the area to come to the floor and claim that the national security was simply peddling on truth.
A statement he made seriously breached the orders under which he came. And I want to take advantage of the opportunity given me to address that so that we correct the records once and for all. Mr. Speaker, the order under which he came clearly requires of him not to introduce debates in statements of such nature. But Mr. Speaker, he is taking advantage of the statement to say, impugn improper motive into national security apparatus we have in the country by saying that an official statement made by the national security is wholly untrue. Mr. Speaker, we cannot compromise with respect. No, that cannot be your opinion. That cannot be with respect. That cannot be. We cannot, Mr. Speaker, as a political class, condescend to that level where we compromise the national security apparatus of this country. A statement was issued, which statement you acknowledge in your statement. However, you are saying that is wholly untrue. You can criticize them, which I agree with you, that there were excesses in their reaction. And I'm going to support you on that. But to say that the statement they issued was wholly untrue, with respect, honorable colleague, Please take that one out, because I support your statement. Human rights abuses anywhere is unacceptable. Please withdraw that aspect.
Kweku, did he withdraw? Hello, Kweku. We may have lost Kweku there. Just to give us clarity on this. Also on the floor today, some other members of the House were asking Parliament to go way beyond
and had admitted the statement. He did not believe that there was anything wrong with that.
We lost your the beginning of your submission. Did he withdraw?
No, he did not. The Deputy Speaker who was presiding, Andrew Amakwesiama, intervened and said that he had gone through the statement and admitted same to be read on the floor. And in his opinion, he did not see that anything was wrong with that. He did not withdraw. He concluded and made his demands on the floor.
Mahama Yariga was also on the floor today, and his point was that Parliament should just not accept a simple probe into this or a briefing from the National Security Minister. They should go beyond that and assert its authority.
Definitely. According to Mahama Yariga, this actions by the military and other security agencies are simply becoming one too many, and that it is time for Parliament to assert its authority. If not, the military and other security persons will allegedly go on rampage and actually brutalize more citizens in so many areas.
We established the security agencies for a purpose, for the enforcement of law and order. So they themselves must respect law and order. They must be guided by the law. Mr. Speaker, there are protocols for doing everything. How can one person fire at a police station in Garu, then the Ghana Armed Forces will go to Buguri, which is about 15 kilometers away from Garu, go to Timpani, a completely different district from Garu, and then come to Garu town and then round up every single person that they come across and beat and maim and injure, and then take some back to their camp and continue the molestation. What kind of country are we living in? Ashama, we saw it. Wow, we saw it. Boku, I have seen it several times. It has become a culture there. Mr. Speaker, we must put a stop to what our military is doing. That is why, Mr. Speaker, you must assert your authority and instruct a serious probe into this matter, Mr. Speaker.
Did they get a probe, Kweku? Hello, Kweku, can you hear me?
Yes, Evans, they did not get a probe, but at least they got something. The Speaker of Parliament has ordered the National Security Minister to appear before Parliament next week, Thursday, and brief the House in terms of the full set of facts. And then the Speaker says, based on that information that the National Security Minister will provide, they will take a decision as to whether or not a probe is necessary. Also, Evans, you heard that from the residents in the community demanding the release of some 8 persons who were lifted to Accra. The Speaker of Parliament is also ordering their release, or that they should be put before court so that the court of competent jurisdiction can assume the jurisdiction on the matter.
Most of the contributors have stated their side of the story. So I would like the minister to be here, listening to this and knowing what is actually taking place, to come and brief the House. And afterwards, if there's a need, to refer the minister to appear before the committee that will subsequently be set, to just sit down with them and bring a report back to the House for all of us to. So at the moment, what I want to do is to invite the minister to appear before the entire House, come and brief us. Probably what we are hearing is different from what the minister has at his lips. So let's invite the minister, appear before the House. Probably he might have heard all what is going on. He'll come and brief the House, and we'll take it from there. So that is my that is my directives, that the minister appear before the House on Thursday night of November. I will direct that if they have been incarcerated more than 48 hours by law, the police or the BNI or the NIB should refer them to court for them to be able to continue holding them. So I think the lawyers must pursue that. We will direct that at least they should release them. If they have been incarcerated more than 48 hours, they should release them And if they want to still maintain them by way of maintain them incarceration, they should go to court and justify why they should be continuing incarceration.
And thankfully, I have on the line right now the chairman of the District Security Council, the DCE for Timpani, and Abida Isaka. Also joining us is Albert Aluzuga, who's the MP for the area. Mr. Isaka, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Good evening.
Do you know if these men have been released just yet? He had the Speaker of Parliament. He says they should be released. Do you have any information on that?
Thank you very much to your cherished listeners. As at now, I have not gotten any information as to whether they are released or not.
As a chair of the Security Council, what briefing do you have from the police?
The briefing I had was that when there were 16 in number who, after the exercise, were taken. So we followed up to their camp in Bazua, and they said that the military said that they have done some screening and they are releasing 8 to us, and they are sending the other 8 for further interrogation. So yesterday, when I called one of the captains, they said when they finish the interrogation, they will bring them back yesterday. But for today, I have not gotten any.
Oh, goodness me. We just may have just lost him there. We'll try and re-establish contact and get that brief. As you've just been hearing today here on Top Story, the youth have been gathering again today, making extra demands with threats. Thankfully, the Member of Parliament is still with me. Mr. Alao Zuga is with me right now. Thanks, sir. You were on the floor today. You delivered a statement. The Speaker backs the point about releasing the individual still in custody. As we speak tonight, the youth have been gathering today, addressing the press conference and making threats also. There is this concern that this needs to be managed. Are you in touch with the youth on the ground? You've been speaking on their behalf. And what are you doing to try and calm nerves and ensure that, of course, the security agencies can deal with this in a manner that doesn't escalate?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ivan, for the opportunity, and good evening to our cherished listeners.
Hello, Albert.
Hello, this afternoon. We are so worried that the rights of the citizens of Garu and Tempani has been violated, and then they continue to violate them. The security authorities continue to violate the rights of the people, in the sense that these people were mercilessly brutalized. As I speak to you, a number of people are still being hospitalized. Now, some people were picked, just like the DC for Tempani mentioned. They were picked, about 16 people were picked up, sent to the military camp at Bazua. They screened and then released some, but about 9 of them have been brought to Accra. As we speak, after being brutalized in the various homes, brought to the Bazua camp, the military camp, and brutalized, moved to Tamale, and now they are in Accra. As we speak, it was I've been trying to even see their faces since yesterday. Since yesterday, I went to the BNI head office. Myself and then Honorable Avoka, MP for Zabila, went in there, tried to see them. We were told that it was late and that they wouldn't allow us to see them, that we should come today. Today, as early as 9 o'clock, I was at the BNI head office. I've been there. Then after a while, they were telling me I could only see 2 of them. And I said no. I insisted that I need to see all of them because they are my constituents. And so that I must be a lawyer. And I said no. After now, the matter has not been put to court. The people, we cannot, you have not granted them bail. And so once they don't have access to legal service right now, I need, as their member of parliament, to be able to see them so that I can talk to their families so that they will know that they are in safe hands. Then they said I should talk to a bigger authority. They went back and came and told me that they said they have taken them to court. And then I asked them, which court did you send them to? They said they were unable to disclose the court that they are taking them to. So you see that, as I said, these are people who were brutalized on the 29th, 30th, 31st. Today is 1st. And they are still being held. No access to bail. Their families, including myself as their member of parliament, do not know the condition. We don't know their health condition. So what crime? Even armed robbers and people who have caused murder, at least they have access to bail.
I wonder if you secure legal representation for them, though.
Well, the point is that that's why we went there with Honorable Avoka. Avoka is a lawyer. So I think that what is happening, we are not happy about it. After the barbaric action, inhumane and barbaric action meted out to them, at least you have picked them. You are investigating the matter, and they need to show some human face on this matter. I mean, the assemblyman, a former assemblyman, and many other well-meaning people, young men who you have picked. At least I don't know what else they wanted to do. I just wanted to see them. How are they doing? As their member of parliament.
In the
meantime, but I was denied access.
In the meantime, we've had the speaker today also order their
yes. So
release.
That was the speaker's comments were based on my statement on the floor of parliament, and then the demands that I was making, calling on government to do a probe into the matter, and the parliament of Ghana to do a probe into the matter, and the speaker is in the process of granting that. But the speaker has called for their immediate release.
Yes, and I wanted to ask since that, have you had any change in the status quo as far as the
there is no change. They are still being held by the BNI, NIB.
In the meantime,
they are being held by NIB. Yes.
In the meantime, though, today the youth gathered, wearing red armbands with threats, addressing the press. This obviously must be managed to avert an escalation. As a member of parliament, of course, you're representing them in Accra. What's your assurance on dealing with this in the way with the authorities to avert an escalation?
I can assure you that the youth of Garu and Tempane are law-abiding young men and women. They will not take the law into their own hands. We have been speaking, and I've been in touch with them. I do not think that anybody is going to misbehave. The only thing is just that they are protesting, which is legally their legal right. So they are protesting and they are calling on the release of the people. We are not stopping any security agency from doing their investigation. But the fact is that they must respect the rights, the human rights of the people, which is bestowed on them by the Constitution of Ghana. I think that they should let us see. I would want to see the people. I want to see the face of the people at least by tomorrow, and then at least they should, if they require, so I can give them some legal representation. But this idea of treating them as if they are, high-level criminals, for God's sake, it is something else that you are investigating. You don't even know whether these people you are investigating are involved.
Today, this was a subject on the floor, and it was a heated exchange between yourself and Afenyo Marking. That the allegation is that these individuals were involved.
Afenyo Marking, with all due respect, I did not violate any law, and like I said, he's not the only lawyer on the floor of Parliament. They are legal luminaries like himself. So, and if I present a statement which is really led by leadership, who are equally lawyers, or some of them are lawyers. So he cannot go and then think that maybe he knows better than all of them. Well,
but the fundamental point he made was the National Security Ministry also says their operatives were also
it's full of inequities.
Well,
that is my view.
Just a second.
So
we also saw,
and I'm the member of parliament from the area.
You're entitled to that.
What their statements is full of inequities. It doesn't mean that he has his view too, but I think that's my view.
To the substantive point though that the National Security Ministry makes, that their own operators were also assaulted, and that they believe the individuals they are holding were responsible.
That none of their operators was assaulted. With the information I picked from the ground, that from the location where the first group of youth met the car and then advised them to relocate to the place. The youth were the people who led the car, who advised them that, look, this place you are parked is not safe. Move to this place. And they complied. And they moved with them to the station. No, none of them was touched. Nobody slapped anybody. No, none of them was. What happened about the incident of shooting into the car and all that, I condemned it myself, like I'm condemning the military brutality.
I mean,
that's why we are calling for an investigation into the matter. So that if there's any proper investigation into the matter, you will get to know what happened. But to go and brutalize people mercilessly, including people who are innocent, who know nothing about it. There were a lot of these people who they just came on a visit to Garu, and they have been brutalized. Some of them are workers who travel from far and near to come and work.
Yeah, Mr. Alozuga, at least tonight you've said that you acknowledge that guns were used and fired into the vehicle, and you condemn that. I guess that's what Afenyomakin was making, that whilst you demand that the individuals arrested are treated with a human face, but also their rights are respected, also deal with the issues that they've been raised with the attack on the security operatives. I want to quickly
Nobody attacked the security operatives in person. I'm saying,
and I want to bring in Isaka, who is a DC there, because of the situation on the ground tonight. I just want to get a sense, Isaka, you're the DC and the chairman of the Security Council. How are you dealing with the tensions still boiling in that part of the Upper East region, in Garu, to be very specific tonight, from the District Security Council's point of view?
Thank you very much to your cherished listeners. As a measure, when the incident happened, we were all involved. So after the whole incident, we had to make sure that we carry the victims to the health facilities for them to be treated. Then after that, what we did as a District Security Council, we talked to our regional minister. He came to Garu and Tempani. He met the youth and the elders, and we talked to them, because from the way the thing happened, there was fear and panic in the entire two districts. So what we did is we met them at the Chief Palace. We talked to them and appealed to them that we have talking to the Defense Minister, the Interior Minister, and the National Security Minister, and we have gotten the assurance that no one will come again to make any kind of brutalities to them.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Anabida Isaka. There's a DC for Timpani. Earlier you had the MP for Garu, Akuka Alozuga. Newsnight in a minute.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number? The way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Aye straight. Aye direct. Aye sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant number on other networks. So whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today.
Vodafone.
It's been 5 months, 11 days since the shutdown of Ghana's renal dialysis unit. Over 4 million CD debt with 19 lives lost. Welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, persons with end-stage kidney failure say they do not know who is next to die, as the doors of the renal dialysis unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital remain shut for 6 months. Over 4 million CD debt.
Yeah, when we are there, we discuss what happens to us. Oh, today...
This is what you see death approaching?
We see death every day. We see.
We'll get to hear from the Ghana registered nurses and midwives demanding an immediate payment of the debt to make the units accessible to outpatients.
It's a matter of urgency. That money should be paid in terms of the debt that Kolebu owes. It should be paid so that they can actually have the services they require to live. This is a matter of life and death.
We have details of that. Also tonight, we are learning about the deep-seated divisions among the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, leading to the resignations recorded in recent times by renowned men of God. We'll hear from the Executive Director, who insists the resignations cannot be linked to corrupt practices.
The board, made up of some of the key pioneering leaders of the church in Ghana, where their preferences might not always prevail. In this changed and unfamiliar context, some will prefer to leave the trusteeship of the board.
They've also been defending what has become known as the most expensive hole in Ghana.
We have 1,400 square meters concrete has been laid so far, 1,900 tons of rebar purchased and delivered to site. So the idea that somehow we just took funds and dug a hole is simply mischievous.
Also tonight, energy sector debt burden drives wedge between state institutions, pitching ECG and Energy Ministry against GMPC following controversy over $20 million WAPCO debt.
You don't go back and use a different approach and then you're trying to blame it on who? The minister, ECG. Honestly, I feel it's neither here.
We have more as the Electricity Company of Ghana says it loses some 25 million cedi daily anytime it rains.
Now, with any day that there's rainfall, we have a shortage of almost about between 30 to 20 million Ghana cedis in a day. So anytime I see rain, I get sad.
In business, Fitch upgrades Ghana's rating to CCC from restrictive default. We have details in 30 minutes.
And in sports, after 4 games without a win in the Ghana Premier League, Heartful record impressive victory over Mediama at the Crown Sports Stadium.
And much later, your election headquarters will focus on the upcoming NPP presidential primaries on November 4. You want to stay with us here for details on more. You may want to join us with your thoughts and comments. It's via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Mensah, and we will hear from you and share your thoughts with the rest of the world pretty shortly. But let's start tonight with the situation with dialysis and kidney patients, because it's now a case of grim and hopelessness for persons with end-stage kidney failure who say they do not know who is next to die among their members.
Well, this is because of the doors of the renal dialysis unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospitals continues closure for 6 months over a 4 million cedi debt. The Renal Dialysis Patients Association say 5 more persons have died, bringing the death toll to 19 in 6 months. It's now a story of pain and penury as the persons with end-stage kidney failure say they see death approaching every day. Listen to one of them, 46-year-old Gifty Labi.
The most painful one, his name is Charles. But
tell me about Charles.
Charles was a very young, vibrant guy, very handsome. We do send him going to buy food for us. Even when you see, you won't believe he's sick. When there is something, he will be taking care of everything. Even if we are there and we ask the two of us, who will go first? Everybody will point to me.
If you say who will go first, what exactly are you talking about?
If we are saying who should die, they will point to me, they won't point him because he's young.
You freely discuss that?
Oh, sometimes we do. When we are there, we discuss what happens to us. Oh, today.
Well, you see death approaching?
We see death every day. We see.
How?
Sometimes, you are there, you may be on the machine, you might not know what will happen. Your heart can fail you, you can die. It comes with heart and diabetes. So if you have diabetes, if you have heart problem too, it causes your kidney to spoil. So that's it. So it hasn't been easy. A lot of young guys died within this from May to this day. So it was very painful for us.
While other members of the association have been speaking to Joy News after a press conference they held yesterday, they say life has become very unbearable for them.
Yeah, it's been very, very challenging. I mean, I'm not getting support from anywhere currently because everyone is financially unstable. My mom is not working at the moment. Back home, I mean, things are not really going on well, so it's been very challenging. Once a while, friends come in, family members also come in as well. Once a while, it just comes. When it comes, I go. When it doesn't come, I just stay home. I'll plead on the government to come to our aid at least include dialysis on the NHIS, because we are really suffering. People are dying. I believe by doing so, it will reduce the morbidity and mortality rate in the country. Yeah.
Parent died when I was young. I was schooling at Mpraiso Senior High, and I had kidney failure, so I have to come home. When I came home, I told my sister about it. We came to Kolebu. They diagnosed me at Kolebu, so they put me on the machine. Sometimes we beg. The man won't get the money. If he get the money, I'll come for dialysis. But if he doesn't get, I will be in the house. So because of that, I don't drink water. I don't eat. Even when I'm thirsty, I'll be there. I won't drink because I know if I drink, I will suffer. So I won't drink.
Well, Emefa, as you know, Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiah-Sarri, speaking during the Joy News special program on this subject 2 months ago, said government was going to intervene and provide the needed funds for Kolebu to reopen the OPD, but almost 4 weeks on, the promise was made. That is yet to happen, as government has not cleared the 4 million cedi that we know that Kolebu needs to reopen the OPD. President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Foria Mpofo, she was also on that show. She was seated right between the Kolebu CEO and Dr. Anthony Nsiah-Sarri, and she also had the promise that this payment will be made. She says it's unacceptable to keep the unit closed. Just
the amount involved, which is the 4 million debt at the moment, and the 900 and something thousand that they need on monthly basis to sustain the renal unit and provide the services of the patients, I don't think it's something that Ghana cannot afford. And we are talking about the lives of individuals. These are probably breadwinners of their homes. These are fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, people who have relatives who also love them, and their loss is a big issue for these families. So it's important that government listens to our cries. That day when we had the forum, I think Dr. Nsiah-Sarri was there representing government. The CEO was there, I was there myself, and there were other panelists. Personally, I think this is not money that is too burdensome for Ghana as an economy. It should be made available so that Kolebu can open up the renal unit for patients to use up the place. For us as nurses and midwives taking care of these patients, we know the kind of trauma they go inside.
Now we are learning that 5 persons have lost their lives. As a matter of urgency, what would you want to see immediately with regard to this issue?
It's a matter of urgency. That money should be paid in terms of the debt that Kolebu owes. It should be paid. And the monthly cost of having to provide the services to these patients at that reduced amount or cost should be done so that they can actually have the services they require to live. This is a matter of life and death. And even as we speak, somebody's condition may be worsening, somebody may have lost their lives just because the facility is not open and they are not getting the services that they require.
And MF, if you're wondering what exactly did government promise to do about this, well, Nsiah-Sarri was on the show. This is what he told the CEO of Kolebu Teaching Hospital when he disclosed that I only need 4 million cedis to reopen the OPD.
Government is to assist and help the people. So whatever government wants to do to assist the people, that's what government will do. Yes, there's discussion going on.
So they will get the money. You can assure, because everybody's listening. This is very, very important.
Yes, they have to be supported for Ghanaians to get the treatment.
So you can assure us today on the show that Kolebu will get the money to open the OPD.
The Kolebu's chief executive was at the presidency yesterday of the board chairman. So
I just want to get a commitment. They will get the money.
Oh, the government is to assist and help the people. So whatever government wants to do to assist the people, that's what government will do.
Well, the assistance clearly hasn't arrived yet, and so the place remains closed.
And I must say that as producers, we've been running around trying to get the Kolebu CEO, the Kolebu PRO, Dr. Anthony Nsiah-Sarri himself, who made that promise. All have proved futile. Nobody wants to give us any answers when it comes to clearing of this 4 million cedi debt.
Yes. Okay, so we're talking about 4 million cedis. Let's place it in some context so we appreciate how much money exactly we are talking about. And let's bring in Kofi J, who has been looking at that money. Kofi, give us a breakdown. The 4 million cedi debt, what can it buy?
Well, Evans, 4 million Ghana cedis, you are looking at just some 5 Land Cruiser V8 vehicles, if you are looking at a per unit price of, let's say, 800,000 Ghana cedis, it can only afford 8 of them. If you want to position it in road construction, it can only construct about 6 kilometers of road. That is from, like, let's say, Kaswa toll booth to Weja toll booth actually to the Kaswa overpass. So it's not really any huge amount. We are looking at just 5 Land Cruisers and in road construction, just about 6 kilometers of road. And I gave an example from Kaswa, Weja toll booth to the Kaswa overpass.
4 million.
4 million.
I mean, 4 million cities, as he's explaining. As for Land Cruisers, is something that we see on the roads
and
every
these
day.
are V8s you're talking about.
Well,
so you can sell how many and then get money to open it?
Just 5.
5? Just 5?
Yeah.
Okay, I've counted more than how many in one convoy alone. Let's see how we are able to do this. But let's bring in Kwame Sapong-Esiedu, CDD fellow. He was a panelist on this particular Joy News special program that we held. He joins us via Zoom. He joins us now. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. Kwame Sapong, we've spoken at length about this matter. But I'm wondering, what kind of country can leave its renal dialysis unit closed for 5 months, 11 days? Kwame. Hello, Kwame. You have to unmute. Can you hear me, Kwame?
Hello, Emefa. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you help me appreciate what kind of country will leave its renal dialysis unit closed for 5 months, 11 days after all the talk over the period.
Well, Emefa, thanks and good evening to listeners. It's a sad situation, yes, I agree, but it's unsurprising. And it hurts me to say that it's sad, but it's unsurprising. And I'll explain why. When we had the Thought Leadership Program, I laid the preamble from the problem we find ourselves in. And if Evans would remember, when Dr. Nsiasari made that promise, I came back and I said, I find myself sitting here laughing because it's not going to happen. And he got a bit upset about it. And I came back and I told him that I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but this is not going to happen for a number of reasons. There's no fiscal space in our health budget. There's absolutely none. And if you say the NHIS must take it, they have capped the funds to the NHIS. So the NHIS doesn't even have the liquidity. And I pointed that out on that day as well. So if you look at it from a dialysis unit which owes 4 million, what you have to remember is that the 4 million being paid is to defray the current debt. Once the debt is defrayed and you start running it, there would be the situation where there would be recurrent expenditure and you would have to deal with the recurrent expenditure. So it's not like you make a one-off payment of 4 million and the system can start running. And that is why I was saying that I find myself laughing at such a serious situation, because rather than deal with the thing holistically and sort the problem out, look at the impact of charges at the port on all the consumables and other things, and look at the funding stream to the dialysis unit. We were trying to be ad hoc. Oh, yeah, the CEO was at the presidency, and the government will do anything to fix it. You cannot fix an endemic problem that way. And unless and until we get to the point where people listen and realize that we need to do root cause analysis of our problems, sadly, people would die. And it hurts me to say this, but that is what they are doing, and that is why they wouldn't speak to you. Because it hurts me that I said this close to 8 weeks ago, and I'm saying it now, and unfortunately what I said is happening. It's just not fair to the patients.
You have your ears a bit more on the ground beyond the promise that was made on October 5, and we knew that that was not going to happen. I'm sure you've been in touch with persons at Kolebu, amongst others. We've tried our sources. We are not getting anything. What really is the indication you are getting? Are there any moves at all to get that place running?
Well, yes, there are moves, but all they are saying, I mean, basically, and you see, and that is why I keep saying that sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves. You remember when all this started, the PRO of Kolebu came out to say basically they had to run on the current model. When they wanted to increase the prices, they had to run on the current model. The place was shut in a month. They are saying the same thing. They are basically saying that even if the money is paid and structures are not put in place, the unit cannot run to sustain itself, not just to make a profit, but just to sustain itself. And that's the reality. And I remember when I did the preamble, I broke this down and explained why the unit cannot run because of the cost indications. It was all laid out. The point is, even at that time, Parliament wasn't sitting. And you know that for these fees and charges to be increased or altered, it has to go to Parliament anyway. So there's so much that has to happen that is not happening, and everyone is burying their head in the sand like ostriches. And unfortunately, we are talking about individual lives here, and it's just not fair. And so if you ask me what I hear on the ground, that's exactly what I hear. It's like everyone is moving around in circles. There's no rule structure in place.
We're grateful, Kwame. We're grateful for your time. That's a CDD fellow, Kwame Sapong Esiedu.
Let's bring in right now the president of the Renal Patients Association, Bafo Kojo Ahinkra. They addressed a press conference yesterday calling on government to make the payment till the OPD is opened. And since they made a call, let's hear if anything has changed. Bafo Kojo Ahinkra, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So you made a call yesterday. Has anything changed today?
Nothing, please.
Have you received? I know you have been in touch with the hospital. You go there quite frequently. What have you been told, though? What's the challenge?
Like the man who just spoke right now, there are moves, but the moves, it's at a very slow pace. I hear if they are to go by the 380, that is the old charge, the government is supposed to subsidize about 900. Now, they were looking at that one, and they're looking at we paying 500, and then the government will be paying like a subsidy of our 400. Now, these are the two offers I think they have on the table for the government to choose. That is what is they have on the table the government is supposed to choose. But it's like, still, nothing. And then most of the OPD guys are now going on admission.
Which means that their situation is getting worse because of lack of access.
Yes, worse and worse. Just last week, I had two of my people going on admission. They just discharged one yesterday. There's another one there. There's another lady too there. So because we are not having the regular dialysis and we don't get the proper dialysis too, because most of the private, some of them, there's question about it. So now we are all falling sick and we are going back for emergencies. To the ward.
And here's the thing: although they will not take care of you at the OPD level, once it gets critical and it becomes an emergency, then they open their doors to you.
Yes, that is what is happening now.
Say that they see death approaching every day. Really, what's the story there? Is it the case that you all gather, talk about the situation, yet nothing is done about it?
Yes, because for now we just don't know what is going on. My sister, after the time we did the first presser, it was 14 people. As I'm talking to you now, 19 people. We don't even know what is going to happen tomorrow. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow's next. I don't even know my status I'm starting down here, because the point is, if like most of the people that you were talking, if I don't get the money tomorrow or Friday, I cannot go. The private place, you pay before you are put on the machine. So we don't even know what is going on. Now I hear they want to put it on national health insurance. I heard Dr. Kuboy on radio saying that it will take them between 6 to 1 year. Now from May till now, 5 months and 11 days you were talking about, we've lost 19. So 1 year, it means all of us will die. Simple mathematics.
Tell me your story.
All of us will die.
Tell me your story. So where do you get your dialysis treatment now?
I go to private facility, the Bangor Hospital.
And how much do you pay for that?
It's 550.
Okay. And how do you survive with that? Because the challenge is Kolebu is your preference because it's affordable.
Yes, and then they give quality treatment too. Kolebu, that one as we were there that I said it. The kind of machines that they have, the water treatment, the nurses, the doctors, A1. The treatment that we get, I have been on the machine for 8 years, and all these 8 years I was in Kolebu. So for that treatment, I gave it to them. But the point is, the other places, yes, I cannot speak much about it. The bank that I'm going, the bank is also on point. very good. But how many people can come to the bank? How many people can come to the bank? Other places are charging 950, 700, 600. So the thing is just going round. And I don't even know. I don't even know what to say.
Mr. Hinkra, thank you very much. And that's Bafoko Hinkra, is the president of the Renal Patients Association. Emefa, this is a story that we're keeping a close eye on and we'll be following.
Well, you're listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. You may want to join us with your thoughts and comments. It's via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. On to some other stories now.
The board, made up of some of the key pioneering leaders of the church in Ghana, where their preferences might not always prevail. In this change and unfamiliar context, some will prefer to leave the trusteeship of the board.
And that's Executive Director of the National Cathedral, revealing the deep-seated divisions among the Board of Trustees of the Cathedral, which subsequently led to the mass resignations we saw with the climax of the resignation of both the two senior men of God who are on the particular Board of Trustees.
While interacting with the leadership of the smaller political parties in the country, Dr. Paul Mensah said the development is due to differences in ideology and not any rot or corruption by the management.
The chairman of the board, in a press release, clarified some of the issues raised by the resignation of some of the trustees, or one of the trustees. One of the key strengths of the National Cathedral project is the board, made up of some of the key pioneering leaders of the church in Ghana, and whose work on the project is contributing to improved interchurch relations in the country. These church leaders, the board, have pioneered on or lead vibrant churches with global reach and impact. These churches and their leaders not only have deep-seated theological differences, but also different understanding and approaches to the development of the National Cathedral. The challenge of such a group is that individual leaders with a history of implementing their own organizational and denominational programs and vision have to be part of a collective decision-making process where their preferences might not always prevail. This means that no one leader can have all their preferences, methods, approaches accepted. In this change and unfamiliar context, some will prefer to leave the trusteeship of the board. To give you just one scenario, fundraising, there are 4 opinions on this. Namely, let the state fund it, let no state funding, 2, 3, loan, no loan, only fundraising. And all these are entrenched positions with their proponents threatening to resign if their positions are not adopted. So there's one group who says state should build this project with state funds. And there are board members who argue that way, that the church has contributed enough before independence and after independence, so the state should build this. And there are others who are saying absolutely not, the state should not have its hand in this at all. If the state provides more money, they are going to resign. And then there's one who says, look, there's absolutely no way you can raise money to build this. We'll go for a loan and then later we repay. Some will say, when God called them to ministry, he told them never to take loans. And so if this project takes loans, they're going to resign. In other words, the board is also made up of these really strong individuals who build empire. They're almost empire builders, but they have their own strategies.
Well, he also describes as mischievous claims that the managers of the National Cathedral are being opaque in the operations. He says 2 audit processes are ongoing into the expenditure of the National Cathedral.
There are 2 ongoing audits of the National Cathedral project that seeks to look into issues of accountability, namely 1, an investigation by Shride into issues of conflict of interest and procurement, and 2, a financial audit by Deloitte. So the notion somehow that we are running away from accountability is simply false. In fact, since January, Shrike has been involved in detailed investigations. We've been cooperating. They've been, but the last information I saw from Shrike was a questionnaire to the contractors about how they came to be selected, and they wanted all the details. So everything is being detailed. There's detailed audit, Deloitte. I mean, extensive information they wanted. The last information they wanted was even anybody who's contributed to the National Cathedral. They wanted details. So to be sure that there's not been any fishy, we say we are committed to ensuring that the process takes the time it needs, so that we will restore the confidence in this project. So really, that's the idea that somehow a project of this nature will not want to be accountable. It's not, I mean, I can't fathom it. I can understand it. But all this notwithstanding, I want to state categorically that there is no criminality in this project. We have implemented the project with integrity, including accounting for all the monies from the state to the National Cathedral project. We've repeated this and we repeat it again. There is no criminality in the National Cathedral project. We have implemented this project with integrity and accounted for every penny that we've been giving by the state and donors.
Well, we know now it's that particular site has become known as the most expensive hole in Ghana. We've been hearing a defense of that.
Works executed on site. The National Cathedral site establishment is completed. So all those things are part of the establishment of the National Cathedral project. It's part of the uses to which the money that you receive. So everything you see here, the cranes, the cars, are part of the establishment of the National Cathedral project. And so when there are these conversations that we just took money and dug a hole, these are all part. So 5 cranes were purchased and delivered to the site. 3 cranes have been installed to date. A concrete batching plant has been set up in the East Gardens. A rebar cut and bending yard has been set up as used. Offices, staff canteen, wash and toilet blocks, warehouses, storage, laydown areas have all been set up. Further establishment items like management, site staff, security, technical equipment and machinery, generators, tools have all been provided. And the design work that we've done, we brought in the leading companies in the world. This is all part of the resources we receive from the state. About an area of 70,000 square meters has been cleared. About 230,000 square meters have been excavated and removed from the site. All that, the excavation and sanitary away are all part of the resources used. We have 1,400 square meters concrete has been laid so far, 1,900 tons of rebar purchased and delivered to site, 2,000 tons of rebar installed, 10,000 square meters waterproofing material. So the idea that somehow we just took funds and dug a hole is simply mischievous, and it reflects some of the issues we have to face on a daily basis as a country.
And Emefa, this was a briefing given to the political parties with no representation in Parliament, and they were seated around the table getting this briefing from the National Cathedral executives. Listen to Jerry Owusu-Apawu. He's the General Secretary of the Liberal Party of Ghana, and he is the convener of this group of political parties.
As a political leader, a lot of questions were coming to my office, like what is our view on the National Cathedral program. As a convener of the political parties outside Parliament, I called out my colleagues and we decided to write to the Secretariat and then seek concerns on how far the project is going and why there is so much delay in the construction of the National Cathedral. Honestly, I came here with a very heavy heart. I came here very angry, but I should tell everybody my heart is gone down. I am really surprised that even Parliament has information on all that today we got from the Secretariat, and they were not sharing with us, but rather they were inciting Ghanaians to rise against the project. And honestly, we saw something different today. We saw and heard what was really going on with the Secretariat and whatever has gone into the project. And the project seems to be ongoing. It's not like how people are saying it out there. And as a businessman, starting a business doesn't come at once. We invest so much, and at this point, if that amount has been sent into this project, I don't think it's too much for a project like this. It is a very big project, and very soon we will come out with whatever details that they are going to share with us.
And you're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. So you've heard from the National Cathedral Secretariat. What are your thoughts? 055-11-11997.
And as we build up to the NPP presidential primaries this Saturday, your election headquarters, we've been interacting with the various candidates. And we hear from Dr. Owusu-Apawu, who's been telling the party's delegates to look beyond any one of tempting monetary offers from other candidates.
Please look beyond any tempting one-off monetary enticement and think about the future of the party for the sake of your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
And Francis Adenimo has been revealing the financial implications for this race.
Assuming you have 200,000 delegates and you go to a constituency and you give each person as a way of your TNT, cost of transport of 100 Ghana cedis. That straight away gives you 20 million Ghana.
Well, it says it's costing him millions of dollars just to campaign.
How much exactly?
What?
How much exactly?
Well, he wouldn't say exactly, but
millions,
he says of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
Yes. Yes. Why? Why are you surprised? It's expensive. You want to be president in Ghana and campaign, it's expensive. Yes.
Party financing. Where are they getting the money from, by the way?
I asked him that question too. Well, he says people who believe in his cause, his vision, and what he stands for
are contributing millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
What does it go into, actually, the millions of dollars?
Oh, that's what he explains there. So you meet the aspirants, you meet the delegates, you have to, give them transportation. Sometimes you have to feed them. You have to travel across the country. All part of the millions of dollars that you have to spend.
Now, renal dialysis unit is close to over $4 million.
CDs.
I beg your pardon.
Yes.
4 million CDs. Okay. That's the kind of country we live in.
Let's do business now. And Emma Davis is here with the latest. Hello, Emma.
Hi, Evans. In business, Fitch upgrades Ghana's rating to CCC from restrictive default. We'll tell you what it means. And MTN Ghana records 2.77 billion cedis in profit in the third quarter of 2023 as Momo revenue hits 2.1 billion cedis. Business on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent Charcoal and Herbal.
Imagine strutting into the most anticipated wedding of the year. Only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data, or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN Just For You. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique Just For You package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex Tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex Tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex Tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, stress-free. Syntex Tank, reliable. Syntex Tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough.
For over 10 years, Old Mutual has been touching lives in Ghana. Whether you're a trader or a student, an entrepreneur or an employer, or nearing your retirement, we have the right financial solutions tailored just for you. Contact Old Mutual on 030-7000-888 600 or visit our website on oldmutual.com.gh to learn more. And let's realize your financial freedom together. 10 years of greatness, here for a lifetime. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Media Sambisanda mo. Eti emrati no. Mumu hwan pa na tumi hwe na mo bodom pe mo man yakono. Eye kwabna. Na mumu hwan so na tumi just mali me ma yene nyina de. Eye kojo. Enu kro. Kobre tumi hwe na bodom pe mo sense o yisu accident eba. Ayede yan ban ne do braye. Ko si eti na mo ban na sem mana hoode ne. Sa ani na kudwo so yisu accident chako. Na eno ne de e ma wo se wo ye krejen fita. Na watimi asiri bedwo ma na feel you. Ey kojo. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and Pepsodent Charcoal. Afedie. You're gonna natural. FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
– Welcome to Business on Newsnight. My name is Emma Davis. Let's settle for the details. Kia Corporation has signed a memorandum of understanding with Rana Motors Ghana to offer technical and skills development training for its workers and other players in the automotive industry. The 2-year training program, which will be executed by the West African Vehicle Academy, will offer employees the environment to acquire the necessary skills and knowledge. Speaking to Joy Business at the signing ceremony, Head of Ownership Enhancement at Kia Corporation, Kwambion Lee, said the training is to nurture skilled workforce in Ghana.
They will deliver this knowledge to not only their employees but also for the students, for some government institutes. So they will continue this because EV transition will take several years. So we need some long-term strategy to support the successful launch of electric vehicle in Ghana.
On his part, Chief Operating Officer of Rana Motors, Kasim Odeimat, said several technicians and trainers from service partners and other car makers will benefit immensely from the training program. Okay, moving on, Africa World Airlines, an indigenous airline, says it will offer its customers with more destinations in 2024. According to Chief Operations Officer Kwesi Oteng, the company will continue providing quality services to clients. He spoke to Joy Business as the company celebrates its 4 millionth passenger.
From Africa World Airlines, you can expect better service. Definitely. We will offer you more destinations beginning in 2024. We will offer you better service once we get the new equipment in. They'll be bigger than the ones we operate. So we're looking at a new cabin offering. As the Deputy Minister mentioned, he'd love to see the orange juice back on our flights. So we're going to work towards that.
In retail and ready-to-wear shop in Accra. As the first of its kind in Ghana, the shop, which is located on the buzzing Oxford Street in Osu here in Accra, will provide customers with a wide range of new and old fabrics, as well as exciting contemporary bespoke outfits made for the African market for all occasions. Marianne Boateng is Marketing Director of GTP.
It's a pioneer initiative from GTP. This is offering easy access, both online in the comfort of your home, and then a brick and mortar shop where you can walk in, have a feel, have the experience of the shop in all its glory. Expect new designs, perfectly curated to our taste. One of the things that consumers mentioned was they want styles that they can wear to work. They want styles that they can wear to all occasions other than just parties or funerals or kaba and slit. And this is what we have provided for the modern consumers. So it's a fusion of our tradition with modern fashion and style. So consumers should walk into the Osu shop, which is the first of its kind, and they'll be wowed.
Ratings agency Fitch has upgraded Ghana's rating or long-term local currency issuer default rating to CCC from restrictive default. The UK-based firm has also affirmed Ghana's long-term foreign currency IDR at restrictive default and the country ceiling at B-. We'll bring you that in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Emma Davis, and that's all for Business on Newsnight.
Emma, thank you very much. And I want to bring you some of your WhatsApp messages on our console now. And many of you are joining us with your thoughts on this dialysis issue. And This one from Musa Abatwa, who's talking about the National Cathedral and other very important matters, says, Emefa, the idea to build a cathedral is not bad, but the implementation is tainted with corruption and underhand dealings, and it has been exposed badly by Honorable Samuel Kuditu Ablakwa, he says. And on the subject that many of you are talking about, this one says, good evening. It says, I heard your interview with the rep of the renal patients this evening regarding the situation at the dialysis unit. I want help, so kindly send me his contact to speak to him. He says, of course, our producers will be in touch with that. Also on the subject, this one from Senna in Agonu says, the government must fix the health sector challenges in the country. A very short, simple message. Kofi Siedu says it is murderous on the part of the president and his government to sink such a humongous amount of funds on the wasted cathedral when Ghanaians are dying at Korle Bu for lack of only 4 million cedis. Why won't the president and government officials send those who need dialysis attention at Korle Bu to the National Cathedral for prayers? Misplaced priority, Kofi says.
Thomas Khan, he's a dialysis patient, and he says he just feels so sad that authorities can't find immediate solution to have the OPD unit at Korle Bu opened, which is supposed to be the country's supposed apex health facility. We have lost lives as a result of the price. That's 380 cedis that many cannot afford. And the next time was to see the unit close for same struggling patients who seek dialysis treatment elsewhere at even much higher cost. Do the lives of these Ghanaians really matter to those who wield power to protect the citizenry? That's the question from Thomas Khan, also a dialysis patient.
Edgar says, what we're going to lose if the petrol allowance being given to chief is scrapped and that money diverted to the dialysis center? And who is chief is a question that we must ask. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. You're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM.
Well, let's focus on some other stories, and we see a lot of your messages. Thank you for joining us with them. But this one says, go and check if your name is in the electoral roll. That's the directive from the Electoral Commission as they prepare to exhibit names of all registered voters. The process, according to the EC, will allow voters to check, verify, and make corrections to their details captured in the electoral roll ahead of the 2024 elections. Or they've been holding a press conference today, and my colleague Michael Ashali was there for us. Let's go through the details. We know that this is relatively a short exercise. How many days?
Emefa, about 5 days. So from the 3rd to the 7th of November. Unlike the just concluded voter registration exercise, however, that was done at the various district offices of the Commission. The EC says this exhibition will be done at the various polling stations across the country. You can listen to Deputy Chair in charge of operations at the EC, Mr. Tete Samuel, who addressed the news conference.
The Commission will therefore exhibit the provisional voters register simultaneously at all polling stations, which will serve as exhibition centers throughout the country from Friday, 3rd November 2023 to Tuesday, 7th November 2023. The purpose of the exhibition exercise is to allow prospective voters to verify their details, that is, name, age, sex, etc., as captured during the registration exercise, and make requests for amendments or insertions where necessary. It will also help voters to know their polling stations on the day of voting.
On the flood is important. Well, what about areas in the flood battered areas? Will the same exercise be undertaken there?
Yes, Evans, Emefa. So it will happen concurrently. However, it says that the EC may consider doing a new card for those who have lost their cards. We'll do it free of charge for them, maybe, because when your card is damaged, usually you take it back to them. It's done for free for you. But when it's lost, you have to do at a fee. So he says they may consider that. But again, for those that are in areas that the flood waters are yet to recede, well, the EC may have to consult and see whether they may plan for an extension in those areas.
Yes, with the ID card, What I would say is that in the first place, the applicants, or let's say the voters, should go to their centers to check if their names are there. Secondly, you can also go to the district office to replace your lost ID card at a fee. Well, I don't know whether maybe because this one is a special case or whatever it is, maybe the commission may have to have a second look at it, and then maybe, okay, those from that area, if maybe you got your ID card missing as a result of spillage, maybe we do it free for you. Because if you have a damaged ID card and you go to the district office to replace, that one does not attract what? A fee. It's only when you miss your ID card. So we'll have a look at it, but you have the opportunity to go to the district office to get your ID card replaced. If you don't have it, you can still vote. But all those who registered in 2023 should do well to visit the exhibition center to check whether their names are in the register. The commission has not actually taken a decision whether it's going to be free or not when let's say if you missed or you lost your ID card through the floods and other things, the commission has not decided. We haven't actually taken a decision whether it will be free or not. So that is the position. Okay, then.
At least that has been the EC must consider. They haven't taken a decision on that yet, but as you know, a special dispensation, even at the national health insurance level, where the health service has said that if you don't have your card because the floods have affected your home and you've misplaced it, you can get healthcare for free. And so in times like this, you need the EC to consider that. At least now it's been brought up at the press conference. We'll have to think about it. Yeah. You're still listening to News Night on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's do some sports now. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Well, in sports, there was some Ghana Premier League action today, and the big one is Accra Heart of Oak, and they've ended their 4-game winless streak in the league with an impressive win over defending champions Mediama. Now, the Phobians, who had drawn their last 3 matches after a defeat to Bofokotano at the Coronation Park, finally found their winning edge by thumping Mediama 3-1 at the Crash Sports Stadium earlier today. 2 goals from forward Hamza Issa and an own goal secured all 3 points for the Phobians, with God knows Japasu scoring the consolation for Mediama. Now, the win has moved Heart of Oak to the 13th position with 9 points, and they'll be hoping to continue this very streak when they pay a visit to Karela United in their next game at the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium. It wasn't just Accra Heart of Oak who were in action today. Diana Stars were in action against Bofokotano. They defeated them 4-2. Bechem United and Great Olympics also played 2-1 in favour of Bechem United. And Nations FC completely destroyed Real Time United 4-0 at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex. And Dreams FC at home lost to Brecum Chelsea. And for Karela United and Bibiani Gold Stars, it was 1-0. And Samatex defeated Legon City's 3-0. For Kumasi and Kotoko, they will have to travel to Nsantriman, and tomorrow, that's when that game will come off, and we'll be hoping to pick some wins there. But in the African Football League, we have one team that has not qualified to the finals of the maiden edition, and it's Morocco's Wydad Casablanca. They qualify for the final after beating host Esperance Tunis 5-4 on penalties, despite losing 1-0 in the second leg of that semi-final earlier today. Now, the winner of the match against Al Ahly of Egypt and Mamelodi Sundowns, who is currently underway, will play Wydad Casablanca in the finals. That is expected to come off on Sunday. So that's the update from the African Football League. And just to wrap up, it's Thomas Partey, Mohamed Kudus, who have received nomination for CAF Men's Player of the Year. And they are in there alongside Nigeria's Victor Osimhen, Mohamed Salah, Riyad Mahrez, and a few others. For Ernest Nyama, he also received nomination for CAF Young Player of the Year. So we'll keep tabs on that and see if they'll be able to pick any Awards. So Evans Axel for Sports, and is brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Chuckle.
Ms. Bal, thank you very much. Emefa, let me take you to Parliament, because as we await the reading of the 2024 budget, it's setting up to be a proper showdown, because the minority is promising exactly that. If government refuses to reduce taxes and implement economic policies that will address the suffering of the people. Now, Ghana is currently under an IMF program. I'm pretty sure you know that by now. But the economic indicators have not improved as expected. And that's according to the minority. Now, according to the minority leader, Dr. Kaysla Tuforsin, government will struggle to get the budget through the House if there are new measures which worsen the plight of citizens.
Let me use this opportunity to assure the people of Ghana that we in the minority caucus will scrutinize the upcoming budget statement and economic policy of government with eagle eyes. Mr. Speaker, the prevailing economic conditions has already made it very difficult for the ordinary Ghanaian and businesses, and therefore we can't be a party to any policy or measure which makes things even more unbearable and in fact miserable for the already suffering Ghanaians and businesses. Mr. Speaker, let me be blunt here. The upcoming budget statement will encounter resistance if it does not prioritize the need of the people and businesses. This indeed is our bottom line. Right, Honorable Speaker. So if this government knows that its upcoming budget statement will not prioritize the business of the people, particularly the businesses, let them get ready for a showdown. Mr. Speaker, let them get ready for a showdown. Right, Honorable Speaker. The minority caucus, we have not forgotten the cry of the people of Ghana. We have held the government accountable and exposed its sins, and want to assure the people of Ghana that we'll continue to do so. We are tired of seeing many young professionals leaving our shores in droves because they find no opportunities in our dear country as a result of harsh economic conditions, poor governance, and indeed corruption. Mr. Speaker, the position taken by the minority caucus is not intended to frustrate the government. Far from that. We have taken a decision and a position to be on the side of the people of Ghana, as we have done in the life of this parliament.
Well, but the majority leader, Oseche Mensah, says that showdown will be much ado about nothing.
As for the budget statement, I believe we will all witness what we need to witness. And I believe since this government assumed the reins of governance, nothing but the truth has ever been told to this country. And indeed, the truth will be told to this country. And I believe that people will see what steps that government has been taking to really reposition this country.
And that is the majority leader, Oseche Mensah. Let me take you inside the election headquarters.
This is where the proper showdown will be.
Yeah, showdown
in Little MPP.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's start off with Dr. Owusu Akoto, the former Agric Minister. For him, he's been appealing to delegates of the party to prioritize the interest of the NPP ahead of any monetary office.
The delegates directly. Dear delegates, please look beyond any tempting one-off monetary enticement and think about the future of the party for the sake of your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Stand with me on the side of the great UP tradition of our forefathers. In this regard, the party is making the necessary arrangement to ensure that all delegates are able to travel to the voting centers to cast their votes without any fear or intimidation. My appeal at this stage, late stage maybe, is that you delegates should not be tempted by offers which may provide a one-day relief and leave our party in the sun.
Well, the man who spent millions of dollars just yet, Francis Adainimo, was on PM Express last night, and he's reviewed the financial implications associated with this particular race.
This is not what was anticipated when we decided in 2009 to expand the delegateship for the election of either the flag bearer or parliamentary candidate. One of the objectives in expanding the Electoral College was to cure the monetization.
Too big to pay for everybody.
Yes. But now we are realizing that it has not solved it. And for me, it is worrisome. Assuming you have 200,000 delegates and you go to a constituency and you give each person as a way of your TNT, cost of transport of 100 Ghana cedis. That straight away gives you 20 million Ghana cedis. By the simple multiplication, gives you 20 million Ghana cedis. And that is not the end. Your logistics, vehicles, move around, fuel, your vehicles, to maintain your vehicles, your accommodation, your feeding. There will be other incidental costs that will arise. So, it is worrisome.
Well, but he's still spending. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Guess
He's
who else?
confident he'll win, yeah?
He is very confident that he will cause an upset, right? But guess who else is confident he will win?
That's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
He is very confident. In addition to that, he's been defending his record in the Nana Akufo-Addo-led government. He says, yes, he's a vice president. He doesn't have full control. He cannot manage the economy by himself. But he has supported the government with great ideas that have transformed the country. There's more in the report by Samuel Imbura.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, speaking at a mammoth rally climaxing his campaign tour in the Upper East region, made reference to digitization in transforming the economy under the Akufo-Addo government. He's optimistic of doing more if he becomes president.
And you know that the work of a vice president is like the work of assistant headmaster, isn't it? Or first vice constituency chairman, isn't it? That is the nature of my work. It means that if by the grace of God you make me the presidential candidate and I become the president, I'll do much, much more. I'll do much, much more for all of us.
Dr. Bawumia also indicated that among the 4 aspirants contesting the flag bearer race in the MPP, he is the only candidate that is a threat to the political fortunes of the NDC in the 2024 general election.
Who do you think can beat John Mahama in 2024? On November the 4th, I'm just asking you to please give John Mahama to me and I'll beat him for you. Joboy.
Wife of the Vice President, Samira Bawumia, has also extolled the qualities of her husband that make him suitable to lead the party.
Are we ready for an honest leader? Are we ready for a humble leader? Are we ready for a hard-working leader? Are we ready for a leader who will unify us and not divide us? Are we ready for a leader who will take us to victory, inshallah?
Meanwhile, the candidacy of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has garnered overwhelming endorsements from the delegates across the country, as regional chairmen are leading the front with the pledge of giving him 100% votes at the Congress. Samuel Mbura, Joy News.
And that is what we're going to be bringing you and more on your election headquarters from Friday. That is
Election
8
Eve.
to 10 p.m. live here on Joy 99.7 FM, also on the Joy News channel. And then from 7 a.m. on Saturday, we start our special coverage of the primary itself, all the way till we know who has won and
Last
beyond.
ballot is counted and
Tonight,
declared.
we have a conversation with the delegates on PM Express. We're having a conversation with the MPP kingmakers.
Will they show us how to become a delegate?
Well, we'll ask them.
Okay.
In 3 of them, 3 locations, live on PM Express.
And how much they've made so far?
Well, I'll ask them on your behalf, but they'll join me tonight for a conversation. We're very intrigued and interested in what would influence your vote, for example. Have they been, given monies and are they taking it, etc.? We'll have a conversation. Then later, we'll also be joined by the party executives, the general secretary, and some of the representatives of the other candidates who are contesting. She's still a candidate, but she's very intimidating. And if she stands in any elections, I'm pretty sure
I'll be a
that
candidate
she
soon.
would intimidate the
One of
delegates
these days.
to vote for you.
One of these days, I'll be a candidate.
Okay, and
watch this space.
That voice there
Presidential
belongs
candidate.
to
I don't know about that one, but you never know.
Inimado, yes.
To be interesting, and I think so too. Anyways, so Strong and Sassy is coming up, and this November we're doing the Boss Chicks series. So we're doing women in business, women in real estate,
women in media.
Women in media, just women doing really amazing things. And the concept or the objective of this conversation is to bring to light how important economic power is to women. And, working, having your own money, being your own boss, and making decisions out of a place of